Let's go to the Dairy Max Built by Chocolate Milk Hotline and bring in the head coach of the 9-1 district champion Klein Collins Tigers. We're joined by Coach Adrian Mitchell. Coach, how are you?
I'm great.
How are things in beautiful Klein, Texas today?
Oh, things are awesome. Got a little bit of an overcast today, but it's still a nice day.
Well, you guys are sitting pretty right now. You're enjoying your bye week after a thrilling win over the Woodlands last week. You know, we had that game really circled before the year as a potential district championship game. You guys come out with a thrilling win over the Woodlands. I'm really interested in what your reaction was after that game, knowing full well what was on the line, knowing full well exactly how big it was to bring a district championship home to Klein Collins. What were your feelings after that clock hit triple zeros?
Well, it was initially it was all pride, just being extremely proud of our kids and our coaching staff for how they rallied. I mean, I was just extremely proud. I mean, just a little overwhelmed initially, we set out to accomplish certain things and we were able to accomplish that. But just the pride that I had just in our kids, man, it was awesome. It was awesome, for our seniors, for our community. I mean, we had never beaten the Woodlands before. So to be able to do that and to be a part of that, was awesome. Like I said, just extremely proud of everybody involved.
You guys have been, you got promoted in the offseason after Coach Drew Svoboda left for a job at Rice, and you got the promotion from within. You're obviously very familiar with this program, but at the same time, the big chair is different than the defensive coordinator chair. Has anything about this year, has anything surprised you this year?
Well, I'll be honest, because of, the guys that are around me, there hadn't been too many things on the football end of things that have surprised me. The athletic director part of it, that's a little different, because like you said, that the big chair versus the defensive or the offensive coordinator chair is a lot different because, I don't have to deal with what's going on in a different sport. But as far as football goes, there's been a few little minor surprises, but I really have to just thank these coaches and thank these kids. Because, it was a transition for them. I mean, those kids were accustomed to seeing me in a particular role, the role of offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, head track coach. And now, all of a sudden, it's big coach now. It's head football coach. And, our kids, I feel like they really have made it. They've made it extremely easy. Like I said, the coaches, as professionals, we all sat down and we discussed, things moving forward. But, with the kids, they really have rallied behind us all. Not just myself, but they really rallied behind us all, and they continue just to believe in how we do things. It's been awesome.
It really has been fun to watch you guys, roll so far this year. I want to take you back to, maybe back to that loss to Klein a little bit earlier this year, to October 19th, a heartbreaking loss, on the road to a game Klein team. I'm really interested from your perspective. Coaches tell you all the time that there's no that you learn from your losses. What do you think you guys learned from that to be able to rattle off two big wins, including a district championship win over the Woodlands?
Well, until you're faced with that adversity and you actually suffer that defeat, you can tell the kids all you want. Man, hey guys, nobody's intimidated by us because we rolled in with these nice Klein Collins uniforms on. We have to play the game, and we had to truly mature. In that time, right after that game. I mean, Klein's a really good team. We didn't play well, but they're still a really good football team. And, in our district, depending on how you come out and play, anybody can beat you. So I think it was an eye-opener for us all. We're things that we've been harping on all year. Those things bit us in the butt. We had a ton of mental mistakes in that game. And you look at the Conroe game, you look at the Woodlands game that followed. We greatly minimized the number of mental setbacks we had, whether it be a penalty or just a misassignment, because we just mentally weren't locked in. So it showed a ton in those kids and, their resilience and their ability to just kind of look back in that mirror and say, you know what, we take care of us, we'll be okay, and they were able to do that the last 2 weeks.
We're talking with Adrian Mitchell, the head coach of the Klein Collins Tigers here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Coach, you were promoted from your defensive coordinator position. I know you got to oversee the whole team, But at the same time, I imagine you're looking at this defense, which has been really, really good all year long, and having a certain sense of pride in that. What has been the difference for you guys defensively? I know Klein Collins, the Collins is a team that has always prided itself on playing great defense, but what is it about this year's defensive unit that makes it so special?
Well, every year, I mean, we like you said, we pride ourselves on playing great defense. And this year is no different. From week to week, we have to make little adjustments. The biggest thing about these guys is, they don't break. They don't break, and you have, you understand the game. The longer the offense is on the field, the more likely they are to make mistakes. And that's what I mean. And a lot of times people take offense by the term bend but don't break defense. Bend but don't break defense. I mean, that's kind of who we are. I mean, we don't break. We try to minimize the big plays. I believe the longest game we've given up this year, maybe 42 or so yards. It was on a fake punt by Klein. That was the longest play we've given up all year. Eliminating big plays and, just being great tacklers. And those are things that we pride ourselves on. But this group, like I said, we've been able to cause some turnovers. And, the Woodlands, they went down and they were moving the ball that first drive. But, we were resilient. And, that whole bend but don't break deal, just not giving up a big one and we're keep them out of the end zone. So that's what we pride ourselves on. And like I said, some people take offense to that. They're like, oh, man, we're hitting guys in the mouth. And, yeah, we're going to hit guys in the mouth. But the biggest thing is to keep the points off the board. And that's what I'm most proud of about these guys. They keep the points off the board.
When people talk about Collins, I think inevitably a lot of people are going to pay attention to your outstanding running back, Isaiah Spiller, Texas A&M commit, a guy who's really been on the recruiting radar for quite a while. I'm really interested from your perspective because you're a guy who gets to see him every day in practice. You're the guy who's having the most interaction with him in a football perspective. What is it about Isaiah Spiller that makes him so special?
He's a fighter, and he wants the ball every snap. That's the most honest statement I can make about Isaiah. I mean, he wants the football, no matter what. I mean, he wants it. If it's a clutch situation, he wants the ball in his hands. And as a coach, I wish I could just get it to him and put it in his hands every time it's a clutch situation. But then that becomes a tail. Yeah. So what he also does is he takes pride in those times where he doesn't have the ball in his hands. He's like, you know what, if it's a matter of me being a decoy, carrying out a fake, or if I run a route over here, is it going to pull the attention of the defense? He's a team player. He believes in his teammates, and he believes in what we do. And, that's what makes him special. You have all those stars next to your name. It's really easy for a guy to just say, you know what, I'm the man, and forget the rest of you guys. But, he truly believes in what we do.
So you guys are in a real interesting position now. You guys are 9-1, 7-1 in district. You've clinched the district championship with your win over the Woodlands last week. But you have you have a bye week this week, which is, the week 11 bye is odd in and of itself. But, the schedule falls where it does. But you guys are almost entirely up in the air as far as where and who your next game is against. All eyes are going to be on the Klein Oak or rather Klein and Woodlands College Park game going on to really determine your fate as far as Division I or Division II. How are you guys approaching this week, the bye week, knowing full well that you can't, there's about 4 or 5 teams you would have to get film on to figure out how are you guys approaching this week of inaction, as it were?
Yeah, well, like you said, normally when that bye week is earlier in the season, you know exactly who you're playing the next week. So, you can, for a couple of days that week, you can just kind of go back and push default on everything and just work on, just fine-tuning some things. And then later in that week, you can start preparing for whoever that opponent is. Well, like you said, we don't have that luxury because we don't know who it is. So we're just spending more time working on us. We're just spending a little more time working on the things that we work on, and we're trying to do as much research as we can about the potential opponents. But, I mean, we're confident that, if we continue to get better at what we do, that you just kind of plug in that opponent and just move some things around for what they do that creates success for them. And, just kind of plug and play from that point. Not to take anything away from them, but just kind of being aware of who their guys are and all that stuff. But like I said, we don't really have that luxury. but it's a matter of just doing a little research and looking up stuff, trying to find kids' highlights, and just trying to have an idea of what we may potentially be facing.
And finally, we're talking with Adrian Mitchell of Klein Collins here on Texas Football Today. And Coach, I know you're busy. I want to let you go, but at the same time, I can't let you go without mentioning you're a Louisiana guy. You went to Bolton High School there in Alexandria, and then you went to Tulane. Of course, in New Orleans, our producer, Max Thompson, is awful fond of New Orleans, and so the only question I have is that when you go back to New Orleans, is there a particular place you're eating? Is there a particular place you've got to make sure you're stopping by to get your fill?
Oh, my goodness. It's like a bunch of places. Port of Call, I have to go get a burger. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Some places right off campus by Tulane, a lot of little spots over there. Mm-hmm. Just nostalgic more than anything else. Not that the food's great, but it's just nostalgic to go eat over there. But Port of Call by far, I mean, that's one spot I have to go. And my wife is a foodie. Mm-hmm. So she, whenever we go back, our family, they'll be down there in a couple of weeks for the Bayou Classic, and they'll enjoy all that stuff. But she's a foodie. But Port of Call is the one spot that I have to make sure I go and get me a burger.
He is Adrian Mitchell. He is the head coach of the district champion Klein Collins Tigers. Coach, really appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the district title. Best of luck in the wherever the path may take you.
All right, thanks. Yeah, have a good one.
There he goes, Adrian Mitchell, the head coach, Klein Collins Tigers. Dangerous, but and they're in a weird position because they're in Region 2 in District 15, and they literally have no idea where they go. If Klein Collins, or rather, if Klein beats the College Park, Klein gets in, and they would go to the Division 2 bracket. Them and Klein Oak will go Division, or rather, Klein Collins and Klein will go Division 2. But if College Park gets in, then they would go up to Division 1. I believe that's correct, or maybe I've misspoken. In any case, they really have no idea where they're going, and that is they're in an interesting position because normally you would game plan for somebody because District 16 is a mess too. Yeah, District 16 is out of control. It could be any number of teams: Spring, Decaney, Nimitz. It could be Eisenhower they could see in the first round. A lot of different teams, a lot of different moving parts, so they don't really have somebody that they could plan for. But
he really can't even send scouts out.
Yeah,
he can't even send go check out these 2 games.
I mean,
these,
Decaney and Eisenhower is huge.
Yeah,
Nimitz has to take care of business against Aldine to have a chance. Spring and MacArthur is huge. It is so
you'd be spreading your staff really thin if you're trying to cover all of these.
So they don't really know where they're going, but they will be entering as district champs. And actually, the more I think about it, let me see this. I believe, actually, is that right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they could be, I'm pretty sure they could be Division 1 or Division 2. I think so. I'll figure this out. Anyway, I'm doing that on the fly. Appreciate Coach Adrian Mitchell hopping on with us.